My name's Cliff. Glad that you're here. Today we're going to be talking about some resources for beginner Space A travelers. That is military Space A travel. If I look a little misty, it's not because I've been crying a lot. It's because I inserted my contact lenses. I had my glasses on, sat down, and realized there was all kinds of glare. And that's just not acceptable here. That's not the kind of quality that we want to put out. I guess I'd rather look like I'd been crying than have a glare off of my glasses, which I need to see. It's either the contact lenses or it's the glasses. It's either the glare or the red puffy eye look, and so that's what you get. Now today, I didn't take the time to shave. I was in a big hurry to get here and record this. I was very excited to bring this to you. And so if you're a beginner Space A traveler, or even if you're an experienced Space A traveler and know everything there is to know about it, I wanted to bring to you some basic resources that I think are very, very useful to help folks get started with military Space A travel. So whether you're curious about your own eligibility, dependence, or interested in exploring different destinations, the resources that I'm going to point you to this morning should be very, very helpful. And I think that they should be in everybody's toolkit. So be prepared to bookmark the pages that I share with you here in a moment. Before we get too far along, I wanted to bring to your attention that this particular video is in keeping with and hopefully complementary to a previous video series that I did before entitled Space A Boot Camp. And you can check that out by clicking here. And those videos give you in-depth instruction and coaching on how to sign up, how to conduct your research from start to finish. This is more of an overview of 3 specific resources that are available to you as you're researching or examining some different questions that you might have about your own eligibility and travel plans. So let's jump on over to the first resource, popandsmoke.com. This site is managed by Stephanie. She's a highly experienced military travel expert and an Army retiree spouse. And this website that she's developed is absolutely packed with insights. And so I'm not going to cover the whole thing and all of the different tabs. I want to focus your attention on this tab, military travel. I would recommend that you start with a review of the Space A travel frequently asked questions here. Here, Stephanie's done an outstanding job of tackling the most frequently asked questions and providing the references and resources to back up her answers to the questions. It is genuinely an outstanding place to get a baseline understanding of military Space A travel. The other very significant section of this tab is Space A flights. Looking at Space A flights tab, you can see that there are several articles that cover many very, very important topics about military travel in detail, from the quick start guide to military Space A flights, all the way down to 11 things that you need to know about flying Space A to Ramstein, Germany. So each of these articles is valuable in helping you to understand the things that you need to be considering and looking at as you prepare. One of the articles that I found particularly useful is the Space A travel packing list, what to wear and bring on a military hop. Because those cargo aircrafts, if you're flying on one, can be really cold. So this is popandsmoke.com, and I will put a link to this site in the description below, but please make sure that you bookmark this page in your web browser. You'll be glad that you did it. So as you become familiar with this particular website and get more comfortable, I would just encourage you to refer and reference back to it often. Stephanie is frequently updating it with new articles, and there's always something current and relevant to military Space A travel there for you. And look, if you find popandsmoke.com to be useful to you, reach out to Stephanie and say thanks. So next we're going to jump over to Air Mobility Command's website, and the most relevant tab for your purposes is the AMC travel site right here. So we're going to click through to that. And we're going to scroll down. And of course, there's tons of specific Space A related guidance on this website that you really need to become familiar with. And we'll get into some of that. So let's start with their terminal listings. So the AMC website gives a great overview of the passenger terminal directory or terminal listings. And these are AMC CONUS terminals, UCOM, CENTCOM terminals, and so forth. So they're broken out geographically, but they also give you Army National Guard and Reserve terminals, as well as non-AMC CONUS terminals, all of which are very useful and important as you begin looking around your region of the United States to determine where you can catch flights from and to. Now, remember, most of the United States is a Space A desert. And even though you might have a large military installation in your backyard, that doesn't mean they have any Space A travel opportunities. For me, Beale Air Force Base is literally in my backyard. It's a 30-minute drive from my home. But there are little to no space available opportunities for me there at Beale Air Force Base. And so there are many areas in the country where you may be familiar with a large Air Force installation near you, but that installation may have no Space A opportunities. And so the bottom line is that the key to Space A is that you have to go where the flights are. It's in no way a commercial airline situation. You have to go where the flights are. That said, there are some AMC terminals that are very busy. They have a heavy Space A load, and there are others that are less frequent. Your job is to do the research to know the difference between the two and where you can possibly access a flight that's going to destinations that you're interested in going to. Okay, so let's close this up. So there's a lot of information here regarding DoD ID cards availability, Patriot Express. But what I want to do is come back up here and go to the Space A travel module specifically. And in the Space A travel module, this is where you're really going to find a lot of information from FAQs, like you saw over on popandsmoke.com, an overview of AMC space available travel, the travel instructions. They give the very specific details that you need in order to access AMC sponsored Space A travel. There's also a module here that covers Space A travel eligibility. Some people who are just getting started don't know exactly what their eligibility is. Some people may be retired. You may be an Army Reserve National Guard gray zone retiree, or you could be medically retired. You may be the widow of an eligible Space A veteran. This form outlines all of that information, and the source for Space A eligibility is Department of Defense Instruction 4515.13, which is a publicly accessible document. You can find it on Google. This tab on this website also features the Space A sign-up methods and the information that they need for you to be able to sign up by way of an email. So pretty much everything that you might need technically would be available here on the AMC website. But again, a lot of the policies and procedures can be technical. There is information that's not captured here, and that's why I want to refer you to the next resource, which would be a Facebook group entitled Military Space Available Travel Facebook Group. You can find it, join that group, and get started. This Facebook group is a community where you can find a lot of conversation, tips, advice, and guidance about how to make your Space A travel planning successful. Pretty much any question you might have about flying military Space A has already been asked on this Facebook group. That makes it a great resource for doing keyword searches to find out more information about the specific question that you might have. So let's go ahead and jump into this Facebook group and allow me to point out a couple of features to you that I think you'll find very useful. So the first thing that I want to bring to your attention is under the Manage button, you'll see chats, featured, about, photos, and files. I want to bring the featured tab to your attention, because when you join this group, this really should be the first thing that you look at very carefully, because virtually every high priority bit of information that you might need to know about flying military space A is addressed somewhere in the featured tab. This is where you would get a great baseline for being prepared to make your first military space A trip. So it's a must read. Next, I want to bring to your attention, up here in the upper right-hand corner next to the shield is the spyglass or magnifying glass. If you click on that, you can search the content in this Facebook group. So let's just say you had an interest in RØDE Spain. Maybe you had heard about it, you had an interest in it. You could do a keyword search, just RØDE, and all kinds of previous questions about RØDE would come up. If you did this and read this, you would learn that currently RØDE is not a permissible point of entry for Spain. And so unless you're assigned to RØDE Spain under military orders or hold Spanish citizenship, hold a Spanish passport, you cannot fly Space A directly into RØDE. And so you would have to possibly go by way of Ramstein, Germany. There are other ways of getting there, but you couldn't fly directly there because they don't have a customs and immigration activity there to stamp you into the country. And that's a decision of the Spanish government. If you read through the various posts here, you would learn that information. Let's do another search. Let's say you're interested in information regarding disabled veterans eligibility. You would see that pretty much every day there's a question regarding disabled veterans and their ability to fly. You would learn that you need to be 100% permanent and total rated disabled veteran, and that you would be limited geographically to the contiguous United States, Alaska, Hawaii, and U.S. territories, and that no foreign travel destinations are permitted. All of that information is contained in these existing posts, which are questions that have been answered already on these subjects. Maybe you're interested in flying Space A to the Philippines. You could do a keyword search, the Philippines, and you would find out that Space A travel is not currently permitted to the Philippines. And so your question would be answered. That's the answer. In some cases, members have asked, what's the best way to get to the Philippines, understanding that Space A is not allowed? And you would find out that you can, in fact, fly Space A to Guam and then take a commercial flight from there. And so using this search function will allow you to get the answers to the questions that you might have that have been already asked. And if for whatever reason there's a topic that you're interested in, and you do a search and you don't find the answer there, go ahead and present the question yourself, and the administrators will jump in and be happy to respond to your question. But it's important for folks who are interested in Space A travel to begin to understand that a research responsibility is going to fall to you. Too many times we find that people who are looking into Space A, unfortunately, think that others are there to do the research for them, and they're just not. Because I place a lot of significance on people doing their own research. And it's important because that's going to put you into a position of being knowledgeable about what you're going to do, what your plan B and C is going to look like when your plan A falls apart. Because in Space A military travel, change is happening all the time. Schedules are changing, aircraft availability is changing, and so you have to be prepared to be able to research and solve problems on the fly. If you're a person who depends on other people to do all of the planning and research for you, Space A may not be a good option for you. So bottom line, these are the three major sources of information that I wanted to bring to you today. If you have questions about Space A, or if you're just getting started, make sure you have these resources bookmarked. Make sure that you're a member of the Military Space Available Travel Facebook group. Even if you're just there lurking and learning, it's an important first step in getting the information that'll help you be successful. So remember, popandsmoke.com, Air Mobility Command, and the Military Space Available Travel Facebook group are the key resources that I think can help shape you for success. Take time to explore them thoroughly, and you'll be ready to be on your way. I look forward to seeing you on the beaches and in the next video.